Hello guys, how's it going? Stellabydesign. I'm just here finishing off some scrunchies that are being made here in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. You're gonna see me just putting together right now. I'm putting together these scrunchies. This particular one was just made. This is Stellabydesign. I'll be selling them at a business event here in the city of Milton. So I've started off today by how's it going? How's it going? I started today by making some satin scrunchies. I also have made some satin pillowcases and sheets. I start off with the measurements for this particular one is 20 in length and 8 in centimeters. So it's 20 inches or 75 centimeters by around 8 centimeters. Okay, so that is how we're making the scrunchies. We're also having the elastic here. This elastic here is 7 inches or 14 centimeters. Okay, so this is what we're making today. I'll just leave that sample right there for you to see. Can you see it? That's the actual sample. And this is a satin, okay, and it's in color gold. So what I've done here is sewed both ends of the fabric, opened them up, and pinned the insides inside the scrunchie and pin the outside. I'm going to sew all the way around to make a complete circle. Once we get to the small opening, we're going to now insert the elastic. I hope everybody understands. So what I'm going to do is I'm just sewing the outer perimeter of the elastic. I used really I should be using the actual same thread, but because of time, because I'm very busy today, I cannot do that. So I'm just going to sew the outside perimeter. I hope you can see the outside perimeter of the scrunchie. These are my own little secrets. About 1 inch from the seam allowance. We have opened up the seam allowance that we made to connect the two sides together. And this will be a medium scrunchie made by Stellabydesign here. I've been making a whole bunch of these, and once I make these, I will be showcasing them at various locations. So here we go. So I'm just going to pull out the seams. As I come in, I'm pulling out the actual inner area of the scrunchie, pulling the inner area of the scrunchie. And then once we complete sewing around, we will pull the scrunchie together. So what I'm doing, as I said, I'm pulling, as you can see, I'm pulling the scrunchie through the fabric while my stomach is growling. Okay, so let's pull the fabric close inside and keep it moving. I'm just going to make a few of these because I have to be at a conference today, so I have to do everything fast today. So what we're doing, as I said, we're pulling the scrunchie the inside of the scrunchie as we complete the outside circle sewing. This will be put on the inside of the scrunchie. And we're nearly there. We're nearly there. So we leave the inside in and we put the outside. So we're just gonna sew the outside of the scrunchie. Now the good side of the scrunchie is on the inside and the rest of it is on the outside. I hope this is working out. Let's see what I've done. So let's see what I've done. Let's see. It can be difficult to understand the concept, but this is what it looks like. So we reverse the scrunchie on the outside, see? So this is the encasing of the scrunchie. This is very interesting. Oh well. Okay, so we've made a bit of a boo-boo here, but we can quickly fix that. We're just going to sew on the outside. Okay, so what we do in a situation like this, we have a seam ripper. This is the seam ripper, and we're just going to disconnect these two items here. The seam ripper is very handy, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, so you get the idea. This is going to be sewn by hand. So I have a nice piece of thread here. I'm going to sew now the outer seam. Once we pass the elastic through, we're going to sew the outer seam. So this is the elastic that we're using here. This is the elastic. We simply connect a small pin to the elastic. This is what it finally, Yep, so this is what it's going to look like. We pass the seam through the elastic, through the elastic through the seam of the, close to the edge, all the way around. And then we safeguard the elastic by holding it to the side. And continue with the pin all the way through the scrunchie. We're just going to put the elastic through the scrunchie that is nearly formed. Just all the way through, all the way through, all the way through. Here we go. Okay, so once the elastic has come all the way through, as you can see, what has happened here is that we've got a bigger hole than we need. So I'm going to take out the pin put the two together, the two pieces of elastic together, like that. And then I'm going to sew the excess fabric. I'm going to put these two together. And then I'm going to sew by hand this together. This is my needle. It's already been threaded. And I'm going to sew as much as I can, around 1 inch all the way through. Picking up the top of the thread. We pick up the top of the fabric with the small needle. Pick it up, pull it through, pick it up. I'm going to follow that way, pick it up, follow through, pick it up, follow through, pick up the other side, all the way down. The thread has come out of the needle. We re-thread the needle like so, and then we continue. What we're doing is just basically securing the outside of the scrunchie with a couple of small stitches. The inside of the scrunchie with some small stitches. This way it looks more natural, as opposed to sewing the whole thing. Okay, we finished that. We then slowly just cut the excess thread off and put the needle away. I have my pin cushion here. Very important to have a pin cushion. Now that the elastic has been put through the scrunchie, I'm now going to go back to the area where the two elastics are, pull out the pin, and tie the actual elastic. So pull out the pin that has been securing the elastic, pull it out, take the two elastics together like this, and we're going to sew a nice little seam. It's going to be in black, but we don't care, because all this is hidden from the elastic. The elastic is hidden on the inside, so this is what we're going to do. Here we go. Then we're going to go back. We're going to go forward. We're going to go back. We went around 3 times, back and forward. Cut out all the excess. We cut it out. We also cut the end so we don't have any excess. So that should be secure. Let me show you how it looks. That's how it looks, okay? We cut out any excess thread. We cut it out. We now turn inside the elastic. Whatever is left over, we get some thread here. Again, we're going to sew any excess. That's the actual area where we put the elastic. We're going to sew that close. So here it is. And we're sewing it close. So here we go. We take our hand and we sew it close. Up and down. Up and down. I'll show you the end product in a minute. Why is the meat so dark? You motherfucker. Sorry. Why is the meat so dark? Okay, so I'm just finishing off the edges of this. So this is what the end scrunchie looks like. I'm not really impressed with here, so I'm going to probably have to sew some more. So I'm going to have to get some new thread and sew some more. So we're going to put some, the actual scrunchie itself, I'm not impressed with how it's come together. So I'm going to have to re-sew that area, where encasing where the elastic has gone through. We're going to re-sew that area. So this is what it looks like right here. And we're going to re-sew that a little bit better. Okay, so we're just going to finish that off. We're just going to sew the rest of that off like that. And continue. So this one is complete. As you see, we sewed all the way around. Now we're going to pull the elastic through. We pull the elastic through, making it a complete scrunchie. So that's what the end result is. So that's 2 scrunchies, and I'm just going to make one for the blue jays and then call it a day. So these ones will be made for the blue jays. So I'm just cutting the next one. This is going to be like this. Again, we're going to sew the end together like this. It doesn't matter what color thread you use because it's all going to be on the inside. Okay. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I'm just threading in the machine. Make sure it's thread properly. Once the machine is thread properly, we have a better stitch. So we're just threading the machine properly. Each machine will thread differently. This one is this one is yep, this one is okay, more. No, this is not long enough. Being it's not long enough, we're gonna cut some of the edges off. Okay. So this should be at least 20. It is, oh, it's 21, okay. So the next one I'm making is like this. I'm putting the two seams together like this, and sew along the edges. I want 1 inch. Seams together, sew along the edges. Make this nice and quick. OMG. Doesn't seem to like the fabric. The needle doesn't seem to like the fabric. So we cut off this and we check to see what's going on here. Let's see, is it threaded properly? Okay. The needle, the thread has come away from the needle. This is what it's all about. You have to maintain your machines all the time also. I got this sewing machine oiled. I will be oiling it myself. All up here has to be oiled I have been neglecting that for a while. But let's start sewing again. Just 1 inch away from the seam. The two fabric together. This is going to be a Blue Jays. This is going to be the Blue Jays. That's what it looks like. Okay. It's going to be turn it inside out like this. I hope I'm doing this right. Okay, it has to be the other way around. So we're gonna fold in the fabric. That's what we've done. We're folding it in like that. We're going to open up the seams. Let's see. And we're going to start sewing. This one seems a little bit smaller, so we'll see how it looks when it's finished. And here we go. We're just sewing the, okay, we need to pull this up. We're sewing the outside of the scrunchie all the way around. Let's do this. The machine's going to be oiled in a minute. When I come back, I will oil the machine because it's sticking. We're then going to be pulling the fabric through while we're sewing to get the fabric completed. We're pulling it through the fabric. So here we go. We're pulling the fabric through. Pulling the fabric through. We continue pulling the fabric through until we finish sewing the perimeter of the scrunchie. We're nearly there, guys. Pulling the fabric through. We have quite a bit of sewing to do, so we're just finishing off the Blue Jay scrunchie. I made a Blue Jay scrunchie, just pulling it together here. I will soon be finished. Just a little small seam opening at here, and then gonna reverse back like that. I'm gonna pick up the back of the, and we're gonna pull now. We're gonna pull the actual scrunchie from the inside out. See what we're doing? Pulling it from the inside out to form a scrunchie. See, inside out in the encasing, and this is what happens. Now we open up the seam. Being this is a cotton fabric, we're going to go like this, open up the seam, all the way around. We're going to cut off any excess thread, but this is what it looks like a bandana. Okay, so now that we've got the, we're going to now take a small piece of elastic and run it through. Okay, so this is the opening. We're going to take a small piece of elastic. Okay. I would say 6 inches. Here's the actual elastic. And here we go. We're just going to pass it through. We're passing through the elastic, through the scrunchie to form the inside the encasing. When we come to the edge here, we take a pin and we pin the other end of the elastic so it doesn't go through the fabric. And then we continue making the casing of the elastic, the casing of the scrunchie. This is going to be for people who want any kind of blue jay stuff. This is a blue jay scrunchie. Here we go. See, it's formed its shape. We're nearly there. When we get to the side where the elastic is meeting the other elastic, that's what it looks like. So we're now going to take out the pins. Take out the 2 pins, one from here onto our pin cushion. Take out the next one onto the pin cushion. Put the 2 together and sew them across. That's where we're going to be sewing them across so that they now will stay together. Always secure your thread in the back and hold your 2 pieces of elastic together and start sewing. Back and forth, back and forth. Back and forth, back and forth. And one more time. We've gone back and forth around 3 times. We're going to cut any excess off. We're going to pull that through like that. This scrunchie is nice and small. See, that's the end result. Now we're going to sew a nice little, we're not doing this by hand, we're going to do it by the machine because we don't have a lot of time. We're going to sew the entrance of the elastic. Here we go. Okay. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go. Just finishing off the edges here of the scrunchie. And 2 minutes just to sew the edge. I know we want to go very close to the edge. We don't want to make a mistake. Oh, terrible job. So I'm gonna have to cut off the excess, cut off the behind, and re-sew it. Because what has happened is the thread has bunched up in the back. So this is what we're gonna do. The thread has bunched up, so we have to redo it. We have to re-sew it. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, it's caught around there. Let's see. It's caught around there. This is the final product, okay? So we've got 1, 2, 3. 3 scrunchies. I'm going to do one more. One more for the show. One more for the road. Here we go again. Just going to make a sew a little bit like that. I'm going to go very close to the edge. Very close to the edge. So that. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. And then I'm going to have a nice cup of tea and then on the road. On the road again. Da, 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 da. Okay, so what is happening here? The thread below has finished. Okay, it hasn't finished yet, but it nearly has. So we're going to re-spool the bottom of the sewing machine. And then we'll have, the needle has to be relocated. Let's see. Okay. So we're finishing off the scrunchies. just opening up the seam of the scrunchie. I open up the seam and I'm just, and then I'm going to, let's see, is this correct? No, it has to be turned around. So it's the other way around, like this. This is in the back, like that. We're going to fold the insides in together. And we have the outside like that. We're going to sew, we're going to pin the inside like that, all the way around. This is just a small scrunchie, it's not a large one. The small, medium, and large scrunchies, we're making a small one. This is a blue jay fabric. And here we go. We're going to sew it all the way around. And here we go. I'm just pulling the actual fabric. I have to pull it through. Okay, I hope you're seeing that. I'm pulling through the fabric through the interior of the scrunchie. And then when we get to the end, there's going to be a small piece left over. And then we just pull it through. And then we're going to sew this by hand. So we're nearly there. We're pulling it through the center of the scrunchie. Pulling through the center of the scrunchie. And that will be the casing. Pulling through the center of the scrunchie. We've got quite a bit of sewing to do. As you can see, we're doing quite a bit of sewing here. All the way through. Making sure all seams are equal. We have just a few little spots here. Just a few little space here. And then we reverse back. And we open up the fabric. We pull the actual scrunchie through the fabric, which will show you an encasing. See? We're pulling through the actual, pulling through, and then whatever's holding it, completed. Okay, so this is what it looks like before. We could iron it, but I'm not ironing no scrunchie today. Normally you would probably iron that, but this is what it looks like. We're going to get some elastic, as I said, around 6 inches we take the measurements here, at least 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 inches, or even a little bit more, 7 inches is better. We're going to put a pin through that, elastic. We're going to get the opening. This is where the opening is. We're going to pass the elastic through the opening. All the way through. We're passing the elastic through the opening. Again, the fabric we used was the Blue Jays. I hope you've seen this. Okay. We're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there. We're passing the elastic through the opening. And then what we're going to do is hold on to that, take a pin, and pin the other end of the elastic to the fabric. So we can secure that like that. And then we're going to continue pass the elastic through. It's going to look like this. Continue, pass the elastic through, all the way through. That's weird. And then continue, pass the elastic through. And when it comes to the other side, we're going to continue. There we go. Continue, sir, ma'am. We're going to continue to the other side. When we get to the other side, this is what it looks like. We're going to now take the pin away from the elastic, securing that elastic by hand. We're going to now take the other pin out of the elastic, put those two together like that. That's what it looks like. And sew it on the machine. Sew it on the machine. Let's see. There. So a couple of few stitches. Yep, back and forth. Back and forth. One more time. I didn't like that one, so I think we've done enough. Back and forth. I did it around 2 times and it didn't like it after that. So we did back and forth 2 times. We cut off any excess thread from the elastic. We have secured the elastic, so we're going to cut any excess thread from the elastic without cutting the elastic, okay? This is what it looks like. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so now we're going to secure any area that has to be sewn. So we have to sew any areas that are open, we have to sew it. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, let's do this. We're just going to sew the entrances of the elastic. We're going to sew that together, and then that will be the end. This is completed. Once we finish sewing the elastic encasing, This is how we do it. Okay. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Okay. Oh, I've seen another opening, so we have to sew that close also. Unfortunately, something happened here that's out of my control. And we're gonna sew. We're gonna sew that opening close. Okay, so that's done. We sew the excess thread from both sides. Cut off the excess thread. And then we secure the lovely pattern of the scrunchie. We secure it like that. Nice. This is a lovely one. Nice and big. And we use a thicker elastic, so that made it a little bit different. But this is the final. So let's just show you what I've made today. This is the final. I've made 2 scrunchies that were in the Blue Jays, Toronto Blue Jays, and 2 gold ones. Okay? Can you see that? Okay, and that's the end. Stella by Design. Again, any issues? This is basically what they look like. One is the gold, and one is Blue Jays. So I made 2 Blue Jays and 2 golds. And this is my sewing machine here that I make all my stuff with. These are some of the other scrunchies I've made. I've made a polka dotted one. I've made ones with leaves on it. Ones that is leather, yellow, camouflage, pink, and black and white. Stella by Design. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Making scrunchies, making satin pillowcases, making shopping bags, and making a whole bunch of stuff. Stella by Design.